Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. Now, the content that we're going to cover tonight, guys, I'm going to be honest, I thought was a little weird when I did the first little hint of it. Remember that video that I did around the media calling out the fact that suicides were the major problem in gun violence in the United States? Well, even in that video, I said something doesn't seem right. They changed their narrative, and there's always a reason why. Look for the why. Well, I think I've got an example right here. Everything I'm about to show you is linked in the description box below, and I need to hear you guys on this one because this is going to cook your grits a little bit. Now, if you are a new or returning viewer, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and making sure the notification bell is on. We need as many people as we can to get in the fold to stop things just like this, because the Pentagon has a report requiring, or not requiring, advising full-on gun control on government DoD defense or Department of Defense areas. Listen to this. You got to spread this one out because this is big. They do this a lot. Pentagon panel recommends bases stop selling guns to troops under 25 to fight suicides. Isn't that interesting? 3 or 4 days ago, I did a video again around suicides being the main problem coming from the media and Gun Violence Archive, which is a conflict to the narrative of gun violence that they've been putting forward, right? Gun violence. Well, interestingly enough, suicide was introduced a couple of times by the media, and now all of a sudden a Pentagon report is coming out and saying suicides are the cause for gun control on DoD property. Amazing how those two strings connect. Let's keep going. Let me show you what we've got to deal with here. Independent Pentagon panel also recommends creating national database tracking firearm purchases on Defense Department property. So raising the age, tracking the purchases with a national database. Any of these things sound familiar, like what the left has been requesting for a while? An external evaluation of suicide in the U.S. military has produced a report calling for greater gun restrictions for U.S. troops. Now, let me just say right now, I want every piece of support for our troops possible. This is a horrible thing that happens across the board in our military and after our military. I want to make sure they have all the support. They fought for our freedoms. The freedoms that we cherish and value are provided and protected by the military itself. They need everything that they possibly can to prevent these terrible things from occurring. That is not gun control for the entire purpose of what they went and fought for to protect our Constitution and swore the oath of our Constitution. Anyway, let's keep going because the Pentagon is responsible for this. The Suicide Prevention and Response Independent Review Committee was formed by the Department of Defense on March 2020 to help combat the rising rate of suicides among service members. Again, a noble cause. It's gone askew. In the committee's report, released Friday, the independent body recommends on DoD property raise the minimum age for purchasing firearms and ammunition to 25 years. So you can issue them one to go out and fight for the wars. But they can't buy one until they're 25 on Department of Defense property. No, it's not an infringement of the Second Amendment because it's not nationwide. It's just the Department of Defense. Inch by inch. You give that mouse a cookie, he wants a glass of milk. This is a really, really big cookie. Let's keep going. The committee designated the suggested gun on ban purchases for soldiers under 25 as high priority and a factor that must change. Again, keep in mind, rifles, the price is 18. Now they want to bump it up to 25. That's a pretty big bump considering in the civilian market, the Biden administration is saying 21. Do you see the consistent themes that they're doing along with the media introducing suicides? A very convenient timing at best. Anyway, let's keep going. The report goes on to suggest several other altercations to gun laws on DoD property that reflect common gun control tactics, including suggestions to implement a 7-day waiting period for any firearm purchased on DoD property, and develop a national database for recording serial numbers on firearms purchased on DoD property. National registry, mandatory waiting periods, raising the age. And by the way, the last thing I'm about to show you, check this out, for raising the age of ammunition purchases. Oh, we got some California. The report also recommends that the DoD implement a 4-day waiting period for ammunition purchases on DoD property to follow purchases and receipt of firearm purchased on DoD property. Not raising the age on ammo. A mandatory waiting period of 4 days. So, in summation, a couple days ago, you had the media coming out and undermining the gun control narrative, saying suicides are really the main problem, which was kind of weird because they've never even addressed it before. It's actually true and it needs to be solved. However, it's weird for a change in behavior. Then, a couple days later, you see the Pentagon release a report that literally says, raise the age of any firearm sold on DoD property to 25. Then institute a mandatory database with serial numbers and registry from everything bought on that property. Also, a 7-day waiting period for firearms and a 4-day waiting period for ammunition. I'm not a Nostradamus, but I can kind of see these planets starting to align in a certain way. Can you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments field below and make some noise on this one because this is an important thing. I'm Braden. See you later.